What do you do when the Maffetone method stops working? What happens when you've been running slow for months and your Maffetone pace has improved and then it just stops? I've been there. I know how to break through. So let's first define what the problem is. So your heart rate is stable, but your pace is no longer improving. The good news is you don't need to really ditch the Maffetone method. You just need to tweak it a little bit. And here's why that plateau happens. Here's the key thing. If you're a new runner, your body adapts after a period of time and then it stops, which means you have to figure out a way to kind of get it going again. So strength or body composition can also be a real big factor. You could have gained weight. I know for me, when I gained weight, my Maffetone pace really, it just sucked. It just went downhill. But I've been doing a lot more manual labor over the last little while. And because of that, the whole getting stronger, it's really helping me with that side of things. Because I had a lot of muscle imbalances in a lot of places. And so I've spent a lot of time trying to fix where those are. And in time, it's gotten better and I feel pretty awesome. But when you run at the same distance, the same pace all the time, your body adapts to that type of training. And it's just like going to the gym where you're bench pressing, let's say whatever, I'll just pick 100 pounds, right? So you've been doing 100 pounds for quite a while. But then all of a sudden you're like, yeah, okay, I don't really seem to be gaining much more. You level up a little bit more, and then you level up a little bit more, and more, and you get stronger and stronger and stronger. Running slow only takes you so far. And it's taken me quite a distance. But when it stops working, that's when you have to start to make some changes and make some adaptations to your running routine. Look, if you're like me and you're kind of like a creature of habit and you just love running slow and getting out in your neighborhood, that's fine. But be open to making some changes. So there are some things that you can do. One of them is you can sprinkle in some threshold work, right? You can do like a tempo run once a week. That's where you run a little bit faster, right? You're running in that gray zone for, let's say, 20 minutes or 40 minutes, right? You get out and you tax the heart a little bit more. The other one is maybe you add some strides. Maybe when I talk about strides, if you're new to running, maybe you're out for a run and the last kilometer or the last mile or something like that, where you go ahead and you add in a little bit of a faster pace at the end, the tail end, okay? And that maybe you just do it for 100 meters. Maybe you do it for 10 seconds, 20 seconds, 30 seconds. Just kind of work your way through that. And then slow it back down again, and then do it again. And then slow it back down, and then do it again. It varies the pace. And I find that when you do that, you can actually start to break through some of these plateaus that your body has kind of set you on, because it's already figured out what it needs to do. The other one is maybe you're doing some strength training, right? That can really help. At least twice a week, it could really make a difference. I know for me it has. And the other thing is maybe adjusting your nutrition, right? Maybe getting more protein in your diet. I know as we age, I know I've seen some changes over the last number of years where, my skin's a little bit different. Maybe you need to take some collagen or whatever it may be. Your body changes all the time, and what you thought you could do last year, maybe you can't do anymore. And that's normal. But you have to be open. You have to be progressive. You have to kind of think outside the box sometimes of like, wait a minute, things are changing with me and I need to kind of change with it. Otherwise, I'm going to get left behind. This is maybe you're overtraining. Maybe you're running way too much, right? Maybe you're running way too little. It could be a combination of both. And again, I've experienced both of those. And right now, I'm in one of those situations where I'm like really I'm only running one day a week, which it's kind of a little crazy for me considering I used to do 10K every day with very little rest. So I'm kind of learned a lot, but right now I'm just going through a little bit of a phase where I'm not out running as much as I'd like. but you know, that will change. It's just a moment in time. So what I look at plateaus is, I mean, plateaus aren't the end, right? They're just a sign that you're ready for the next level. So I want to know, what are you doing to combat your plateau, your slowness, your lack of improvement? What are you doing to kind of break through that barrier? Because I'd like to know. Comment below, maybe like, comment, subscribe to the channel. It really does help me a lot, considering I'm trying to build this channel, because sometimes when things are slow in the market, a little bit of extra money does go a long way. So this channel I'm trying to build, it's slow, but I am just grateful for all of you that watch the channel, because it really means so much to me. And like I always say, get out and run. Oh yeah, and my microphone, I really didn't realize that I didn't charge it last night. So I'm walking around with this whole thing going, yeah, it doesn't work. So what do I do? And the one here doesn't work either. So I guess it's in good company. All right, that's it, guys. Let's get out and run. The sun is coming up and it looks beautiful. What a great day to go for a run. Let's see if I can get some shots with my GoPro. Okay, that just looks like it's gonna be beautiful this morning. So story time with Dave right now. One of the things that I found really, really helpful when I was training to run my 50 miler was getting out and doing hill repeats. So, you know, I hit a plateau where I wasn't really kind of seeing the improvements I wanted to see anymore. I just realized my watch, I gotta go back. I gotta go back in and get it. Look, I haven't run for a little while, so I'm kind of out of practice. So I gotta go back home and get my watch. But before I do that, I wanted to finish off this little story. So I started to do these hill repeats, and I used to get rocks. So I don't know, just anything, right? So just some standard rocks, right? And I used to kind of have them with me. And so when I would start my what the hell is that? So one of the things that I used to do with my hill repeats was I used to take a bunch of rocks with me, okay? Just rocks like that. And so I would do my repeat up, and then I would drop a rock. And then I'd kind of jog back down and then sprint back up, and then I would drop the next rock. And I did that because I wanted to see if I could actually, I wanted to see if I could get further along the way and see if I could beat what I did the first time and what I could do the second time and third time. And one of the things I found was the first one I would always beat. The second one was a little bit better. The third one typically was really awesome. And then the fourth one would drop back down. And then the fifth one it was slightly better than my fourth, but not as good as the rest. And that was kind of that progression. I tried to get better each time, but I couldn't. But one thing that I realized was over time, doing that each week, maybe also adding in that tempo run, as I did that, I noticed things improved. And I started to kind of push through those barriers. And I felt flipping amazing for it. It's because sometimes, you know, you get stuck and you're like, why aren't I improving? I should just quit. I don't need to do this anymore. But I found a way to kind of break through that mentality, mindset that I kind of found myself stuck in, because I thought, the Maffetone method, this is going to be the only way I can improve. And, you know, I kind of went down that rabbit hole, and look, it worked amazing until it didn't, because I had built up my aerobic base. I built up my body to that point where I was ready for the next level, but I didn't really realize I was ready to the next level until I realized I needed to be at that next level, if you know what I mean. Sometimes life's going to throw curveballs at you and you have to figure out how you're going to hit them. So for me, I'm trying to figure out my way of making my new reality work. I can't even get this on my head. I'm feeling better. It's been a rough couple of months, but I think I'm on the other side of it. So for any of you that have been watching my videos, you kind of know what I'm talking about, right? Losing a number of friends, passing away and stuff like that. And, you know, my wife still being sick and not really having a diagnosis and not able to work and stuff like that. It's very difficult. So I'm just trying my best to keep my brain healthy, keep me positive like I usually am. So now here I find myself at a new stage in my running where I feel like I'm a broken record, where I'm saying, oh, I gotta come back and get back into running, but I'm still running once a week. That's it. That's all I got going on right now. But the longer I talk, the less I can get out for a run. I gotta do a couple of open houses today for some of my clients. So I am off trying to get this video done early in the morning on Sunday, which is kind of real time for you guys. So like I always say, all right. Let me set down the camera and I'll do my little run by. Hold on a second. Eyes on the road, don't lose control. I'm speeding fast to chase my soul.